And we're back. And as we told you earlier, our second conversation for today is going to be about adult continuing education. And we have one student who is going to be sharing her story about why she chose to go back to school and what the experience has been like. We have with us Elizabeth Trapp, who is a fourth-year student at Baptist School of Adult Continuing Education. Good morning, Elizabeth.
Good morning.
Thank you for joining us.
Excuse me?
Thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you too to have me also.
So Elizabeth, tell us a bit about your story. What made you, how far did you go in school?
I went to standard 6 and but because of my mom unable to send us to high school, I didn't attend a high school.
Mm-hmm.
And so what was it that you had always wanted to continue with your education?
Yes, it's a desire for me to finish my high school at least. But as time progressed, I did not able to attend at the time, and after that I started my family. Mm-hmm. And at the time when the Baptist School of Adult Continuation Education started, Mr. Willis to come and invite me, but at around that time, at the same time, my son gets sick. My son Neville that has to do a open heart surgery. So I had to put that aside until recently when my kids encouraged me to go back to school.
Yeah, that's interesting because, you know, after so long, when the time has passed, it almost feels like, why bother? But you made the decision to still return. And what were your children telling you? Was it because you were hesitating about doing it?
I would find reason like, you know, no finance is there to pay the school fee and stuff. But they said, Mommy, if you don't make a step, it won't happen. And my youngest child never said, Mommy, no, you will go to school. You put back your time because of us and especially for me. So it's time that we gave back to you. So Neville is the one that started me up, and my other two children put in to help me out also.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God.
All right. And after you took the big first step and decided that you were going and signed up, really, can you describe what the experience has been like for you?
For me, I was kind of nervous because I was out of school for 35 years. The curriculum changes as time goes by.
Of course.
My biggest fear was that will I be able to cope with the standard of teaching? Yeah. I didn't enter high school, but with my children, I always, whenever they go to school, come from school doing homework, I try to be there to educate myself, to get in, to learn some of what they're teaching. So that gave me a little help and a start on for me. For me, the journey was, for the first week, it was kind of timid, you know, because it's new, but the teachers, they were nice. Mm-hmm. The student for the first year, because I started from first year, were very nice and helpful because we come together, we join group, they put me in their group, and wherever I'm not able to cope with, they help me out. The teacher also take their time. They don't leave. If I don't understand, if any student don't understand, they would take their time until we learn or understand what they are teaching. So we don't left behind.
And so you were already in your fourth year.
Yes, ma'am. I'm in the fourth year. I'm looking, got a few months more for graduation.
To get your high school diploma. How does that feel? After 35 years, almost 40 now, right?
Yes, ma'am.
How does it feel?
It feels great. It's a feeling that I cannot explain because it's a joy. It's one of my greatest dreams that I seen almost finish pursue, you know. I've always dreamed of at least finishing my high school because out of my family, I'll be this of 9. I'll be the second child to graduate from high school.
Oh my gosh! And what has it been like with your kids? Do you have kids that are in high school as well?
My kids have already finished high school. They're adults right now, but all of them are very supportive of me. And they are so proud of me. That of a 50, I started when I was 50 and I'm 53 right now. So it's a great feeling.
Yeah. Do they say, what do they say? Do you ask them for help with homework?
Yes, ma'am. Whenever I in an area that I don't understand, I reach out to one of them to help me. I have a daughter that is a teacher, so that's a plus for me with her help.
All right. And based on your experience, what would you share, or what would you say to persons who might be considering the same options, or maybe they're nervous or hesitant, and they might be in where you were 5 years ago, still not knowing whether they should make the step and go back to school?
I would encourage anyone. It doesn't matter what your age, because a lot of us like to say, because of my age, what will I do when I graduate? We are alive. And without a proper education, we won't be able to get a proper job to finance ourselves. And with this time and age, we need a job. A proper education to get a proper job. And as we see as time goes by, not even a fourth farm is enough, because of the criteria. So, and to any male, female, young or old, if you didn't finish your high school education, don't be shy, don't be afraid. The first step is you will be worrying, how will I fit in or whatever. Put aside that fear. Make the first step. That's all it needs, that first step.
Yeah.
And I can vouch for Baptist School of Adult Continuation. I guarantee that when you go there, you won't be left behind. I have excellent teachers. All the teachers, the principals, the principal and vice principal, they make sure that I reach where I am at today. My classmates, I said thanks again to my classmates, because all the ones that we start off from first to fourth, they're very supportive of me a lot also. Yeah. And I'm grateful for them. So I would tell anyone, please put aside the fear, because that's what keeps us back from making that great step. Fear of coping, put it aside. Absolutely. Make that first step, and you see from there how fast, and the way time flies, you will be graduating in no time.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, you had mentioned, work and something. So I have to ask you, now that you're about to graduate, what do you have new ambitions? What are your new goals that you want to accomplish?
For me, I'm working right now, but I'll be retiring in next year. But definitely, I don't give up. I might take a little break, but I will move on more. My biggest dream was being a nurse, but with time and I think with finance, I won't be able to, but I will go in other fields closer to that. I'm planning to go to Hawaii. They offer the massage class. Okay. And I know we have a lot where I can do that especially for the elder peoples, because a lot of elderly don't have that. If they don't have the finance, they won't be able to get the treatment that they need. Yeah. So, and I will start off on my community to do the training and do that in my community. And I have different projects that I would like to do also. Yeah. And from there, I will see where I move on and whatever comes along for me to do.
Elizabeth, how has going back to school changed you? Before you didn't have a high school degree, you thought you were never going to get one. You start school back at 50, and now you're looking at graduation in a few months. How has it changed you personally?
Personally, it changed me and look at life on a different way, because at first, before going to school, I said, well, that's it. But going back to school, it gives you bigger dreams. Mm-hmm. It opens you to view other things and other ideas of where you can move and work or put yourself into other positions. With a high school diploma, you can achieve something greater than what you had before. Mm. So, and even if I don't move or you don't move on to UB to achieve something, there are other programs that is there that you can educate yourself where you can help yourself or help the community or others also.
I love that. So Baptist School of Adult Continuing Education. That's where you made your high school dream come true.
Yes, ma'am. That's where it come true for me.
All right. Well, it has been a pleasure hearing your story. I think in a year like this, or with all that we're going through, people need to be refueled with some hope that you can always go after your dreams no matter the circumstances. And that's exactly what you did, Elizabeth. Thank you for joining us and telling us all about it.
And congratulations.
Yeah. We want to see those graduation pictures when you're done.
Yes, ma'am, sure will.
All right. You take care and best of luck with the final year.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much, too.
All right. And there you
are. Interview.
Yeah. And that was Elizabeth Trapp. Of course, Elizabeth is talking about adult continuing education. It is never too late to go back to school and get that degree or diploma that you've always wanted. She is in her senior year getting her diploma after re-enrolling with at the Baptist School of Adult Continuing Education and getting her high school diploma.
Absolutely, such a huge accomplishment.
Yeah, So two very interesting perspectives for today. We started off with talking to Dr. Cobb about his COVID experience. I think it's a very eye-opening story to tell us that we do need to be extremely careful. One, that we don't get the disease, and two, if you are someone with COVID at home, that you keep on monitoring.
Absolutely. Even if, as you know, in the case that Dr. Cobb shared with us, even whilst he was still awaiting his results, he saw how necessary it was to keep monitoring himself. Of course, he has medical knowledge, but at the same time, it's just taking those basic monitors and taking care of your own health. As we've heard from so many people, from doctors, from recovered patients or something, the intervention or the time in which you seek intervention really makes a critical difference. One of the things that Marlene and I were discussing this morning was when Dr. Cobb said that even though he didn't feel physically that bad, when he went to the hospital and he got his x-ray, it showed the extent of damage already. So it's really important to take care of yourself and monitor your health. And we of course want to say thank you to Dr. Cobb for coming in and sharing that perspective.
And it's also another important reminder. Dr. Cobb is a physician, so he kind of knew what to monitor. If you're at home and you do have COVID or you suspect that you have COVID, do make sure that you contact the Ministry of Health so that you can be referred to a physician where you can do regular checks and you can prevent things deteriorating too quickly. So that's very critical advice coming from him there. And while we all may be tired of all that we are asked to do, it is not the time to get lax with it. We must continue doing everything, washing the hands, keeping the distance, wearing a mask, and of course, not going places where we don't have to go or interacting with people that we don't have to interact with. And then we also want to thank Elizabeth. That was a really uplifting story for today. A woman who goes back to school at the age of 50 to get that high school diploma that she always wanted.
I know, absolutely. Yeah. That's so encouraging and uplifting. And of course, it's nice to end the show on such a positive note because it's such a great message. And I think what I really loved as well is that she had so much support and encouragement from her own children that were pushing her even when she was experiencing maybe some doubt or hesitation as to go forward. They were the ones who stepped in and said, no, you have to do this. And 4 years later, she's almost accomplished her dream.
Yeah, she's going to be a high school graduate. And there are many people I know who oftentimes put something on the back burner and never actually go after it. Let's make Elizabeth's story something that teaches us a lesson that it is just never too late. If you're interested in accessing adult continuing education, they have been able to access it at Baptist School of Adult Continuing Education. Just go for it, right? Don't think about it too much, just do it.
Absolutely.
So that's all the time we have for today. In fact, what we're going to do is transition at this time. As we started off in the show, today is day 2 of 3 days of mourning as we commemorate the funeral and burial of the late Dr. Dame Manita Gordon, or first Governor General. And today her body is going to be taken to the House of Culture, where it will lie in state. And so
absolutely, we're going to be giving you live coverage of all of today's events, starting of course with this morning's procession or cortege from downtown, as well as Marlene rightly said, with the lying in state in the House of Culture, formerly the Government House, and we'll be bringing you that. But as we close out today, we will of course be showing you some clips of commemorating more of the life and accomplishments of Dr. Dame Manita Gordon.
That's right. So we're going to sign off a bit earlier, but we're actually just transitioning to our coverage of the state funeral. We'll take a look back at yesterday's activities, and then we will be live at 8:30 from downtown Belize City, where you will be able to see the cortege or the funeral procession that will take place through Albert Street.